Alright.
Here is an OP Odachi early game build. Odachi is a really special weapon. It's got probably the most technical moveset out of every other weapon, because you can switch stances during your combos. Depending on what type of button you press, your stance will switch at the end of the combo. I mean, you can completely ignore that, but there's no need. You can only use that to your advantage. It's, in my opinion, the most fun weapon to play with. And it's got some really overpowering skills that can be exploited for maximum damage. As always, I'm gonna wear Kingo set, because it's the best early game set that you can find. And I'm gonna give you my version of what I think is the easiest way to play with Odachi. Odachi by default has got high damage, but it also has high ki requirement for every attack that you do. Odachi is very efficient against human enemies because it destroys their ki so easily you wouldn't believe, while it's not that great against yokai enemies. Let's start with core stats. Core stats should look something like this. Get yourself somewhere around 15 points into magic, but 10 might be enough as well. If you can, do that Nioh dojo mission on veteran, that way we'll unlock all the spells. Spirit needs to be at 10 because we are using Kato, and get yourself a couple of points into dexterity as well, because you can use quick change scroll then. Strength is your primary attribute, and it needs to be as high as possible. You'll also need points into heart. I would even put more than I did here. I would put 20 points into heart because of the huge ki requirement of Odachi's attacks. We are gonna use Kato as our guardian spirit. It helps with ki and ki recovery speed, and it also gives us skill damage bonus and close combat attack bonus as well. It is great for any kind of warrior setup, as I've already said. And we are gonna use a lot of skills with Odachi. From clans, choose Honda, Kobayakawa, or any other that increases your close combat damage. As I said already, we are using Kingo set, and obviously Odachi in our main hand. For early game, just use Odachi that is best, that is the highest level. Don't even bother with rarity. If you have better ones with higher rarity, then yeah, go for it. But if you don't panic, you don't need it, just get the one that has the highest level and highest attack attribute. This is how your skill customization with Odachi should look like if you want to play with setup that I am using right now. From high stance at the end of the combo for triangle, use twin moons. For the end of the combo with square, use something that will give you switch to low stance. It's really efficient like that. And get yourself retrograde flow and crashing waves. Devastating rush you can neglect, it's not that great. But retrograde flow and crashing waves are really important. Get the same setup on every stance. From mid stance and from low stance, at the end of the combo there needs to be skills that ends with high stance. So these are the ones that I've indicated in the skill customization section. As long as it says with a quick attack or strong attack from high stance as the last couple of words in the sentence, this is the thing that you need to have. Don't forget to get Tiger's Blade for low stance as well. It's extremely good skill that can do insane amount of damage when it hits from start to finish, and it also lets you avoid some of the attacks. Get these skills listed and then gradually add others to improve your build. This is somewhat of a basic setup here that you see from these skills, and I didn't list at all Odachi tree because I believe you should experience every single skill from Odachi tree. Some of them are crap, but there are plenty more skills that are really good next to Crashing Wave, Retrograde Flow, and Tiger's Blade. These three are the ones that I use the most, but there are plenty of others that are extremely good too. Try for yourself all of the skills and then equip them in skill customization as I've showed you my setup earlier, and play with the combinations. There are many combinations, many combos that can be pulled off. This is only a basic setup that I did. It's a pretty simple one, but very efficient. and I think it's a good basis to start with. When you start feeling comfortable with Odachi, you'll add and switch things around for yourself. Here are some of the examples of moves that I'm using with current skill customization that I've showed you. Start from low stance with strong attack. Then press quick attack and you will immediately switch to high stance and then press strong attack again to do twin moves combo finisher. So to recap, strong attack from low stance, then quick attack and then strong attack again. So triangle, square, triangle, and you're gonna do this fantastic combo. Problem with Odachi is that its combos are long, animations are long, but its reach is also long. So there's always that risk and reward, and that's why it's not that great against yokai, because yokais don't flinch most of the time, they don't stutter, so they will just go through your combos and smack you. Here are some other moves that I'm using: Crashing Wave, Retrograde Flow, and Tiger's Blade. All three of these moves are most used in the gameplay showcase because they are extremely efficient. Retrograde Flow and Crashing Wave are especially useful if enemy is blocking. If the enemy is not blocking, then Crashing Wave is rather useless because it doesn't do any kind of real damage. But if the enemy is blocking, then their ki is gonna get destroyed easily. This is a showcase now against Revenants how efficient Crashing Wave and the Retrograde Flow are in destroying enemies' ki. Whenever you do these attacks and the enemy is blocking, their ki will get annihilated. And if you manage to destroy their ki while doing Retrograde Flow, you will launch enemy in the air and they will drop down and you will be able to use finisher on them. I mean that finishing blow, whatever it's called, when they are on the ground. Crashing Wave is especially useful in that regard because it's a very fast attack, but as I said, if the enemy is not blocking, it's gonna do minimal damage. All that I'm using against these Revenants are Crashing Wave and Retrograde Flow, and it's working perfectly. It's that easy to destroy enemies' ki with Odachi, and that's why I find this weapon especially good against humans and especially fun to use. Most fun weapon in the game in my opinion. You can also upgrade this with lots of grapple damage, but then again grapple is also used against humans and rarely against yokai. Here are some normal bosses, as usual. Champion of the East submission, level 93 boss, and here is where I'm using Tiger's Blade from low stance. They can dodge it, but when they do not dodge it, it's gonna bloody hurt and it's gonna destroy their ki if they are blocking as well. I'm not using anything special here: Carnage, Steel on myself, Quick Change if I have to, and Weakness on my enemy. That's it. You can upgrade that with lots of other things. Here I've tried using that combo that I've shown you, from low stance to high stance, and the problem with this bastard is that he tends to jump a lot. Still, I did manage to use it a couple of times, and it did tremendous amount of damage. If you want to play safe against yokai, you don't need to do the combo that I'm doing, you can just switch to high stance, start with quick attack and then end with twin moves. That would be it for the build. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm still gonna do dual swords and X build, and that will be it for Nioh as well, for early game builds. No point in doing anything anymore, you guys will figure everything out for yourselves, because there are a lot of builds that I did when I started playing the game that's for higher levels and mid levels, so you can check those out. Some of them might be outdated a bit, but most of them really work today as well. Anyway, thank you all for watching and see you soon.
Toodaloo, motherfucker.
Hey, you